Now, there's been some economists which have provided us with a warning that the UK will most likely face substantial tax increases in the future years, and this is in response to paying for the debt that COVID-19 resulted in. So off the bat, it's quite interesting that, as always, it's the people that are working that potentially have to face a tax increase, which is as a result of the poor performance from the UK government. Now, the article goes on to say that it won't be for a few years before these tax rises take place. Now we have Paul Johnson here, which I had no idea who he was before I read this post, but he's the director of the IFS, and he stated that it's probably true that taxes would have to rise. We'll probably be looking at the likes of income tax, VAT and national insurance, which are the most likely places that the tax will increase. Now, for the most part, people are paying their national insurance. VAT is something that we are affected when buying items, and then income tax is probably the grey area where we're unsure whether there'll be a higher taxation for higher income earners. Will there be an increase in taxation for middle or low income earners? We are yet to see, and that's probably the biggest question that I have here. Now, the government's job is to think about the economy and the growth. So all they know at the moment is that taxes need to increase somehow to reduce the deficit. And so it's a guessing game to some degree to find which areas and which individuals can be taxed the most, which does the least damage to the economy rather than damaging the growth aspects. There are other avenues to be considered as well. For instance, instead of just simply increasing taxes, there could be a tax on wealth. So let's say you have ownership in some form of land, then you may see higher taxes in those areas. It's very unclear at the moment as to what exactly will be taxed, other than the idea of increased taxation is most likely going to happen. Now, unfortunately, this is all due to the government borrowing money. Of course, the decision was made to furlough individuals and the government paid for that, but in the long run, it is the people of the country that will be paying that back. Now, it's not to say that the furlough scheme wasn't required, it was definitely necessary in my view, but the ideal situation would have not to have had a lockdown in the first place. If we look at the likes of, let's say, South Korea, there was no imposed lockdown during the first wave, and for the most part people were still able to work and travel, etc. So unfortunately the government has done this to themselves. That is irrespective of who would have been in power. But we can see the national debt is at £2 trillion, and already it's over 100% of the GDP. So we have the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, and he stated that we must return our public finances to a sustainable footing over time, which will require taking difficult decisions. Sunak has also ordered a review into the capital gains tax. So that's something that can affect all of us as investors out there. Right now we have capital gains of slightly over £12,000. Now we have the likes of Boris Johnson stating that tax increases won't actually happen for at least another 18 months. So we'll check into this in another 18 months and see what happens. So let me know what you think. Are you happy with having increased taxes in the future? Do you think it's necessary? Let me know in the comments below.